I'm trying to think how you worded it in the book. It was like I could have spent the money on that,
I could have spent the money on that.
which means you still have an emotional attachment to the
Correct.
money you're trading.
Correct.
We have to find a way to remove ourselves from it.
Correct. Because when you lose money, that's what the biggest issue is. Oh my God, I could have used that money to pay off my credit card. I could have used that for my mortgage. I could have used that for my groceries.
Mentally, you weren't there already.
Correct. You already took that trade, and that's why your heart is going crazy. You're sweating in your trade. You're wondering why. Oh my God. Oh my God. And you see one little red candle. I'm out the trade right there. Because that money you're already saying is for that. When
Right.
that's not how it should be.
Right.
What should it be? It should be money that you don't need for the mortgage, the groceries, the children, the spouse. It should be money you don't need.
So if I'm brand new, what does that mean? Start small?
Start small. All I had to my name when I started was $25,000. That's all I had. And that money was for my motorcycle.
But what if some guys would say, well, if I start small, then it won't mean anything to me, or I won't make any money. And it's not about making money at first, right?
Exactly. That's what they don't understand. It has nothing to do with making money. You have to learn the process. It's like when you're in kindergarten or first, second grade. Oh my God, I got to pass this test. You have to learn English.
Right.
You have to learn math. What are you talking about the test?
Right.
How are you going to know what ABCD is or the Scantron is, the test booklet, if you don't even know what A, B, or what that means?
Right.
Same thing with the candles.
So yeah, so definitely a balance there of we need enough money that it's real,
Correct.
but not enough that it emotionally affects you when you take a loss. Because
Correct.
losing's part of trading.
100%. You have to feel that.
Right, losing money. I try explaining this too with people with real estate. Real estate's not just about profits.
No.
I've had years where it's a loss.
Yeah. When they don't pay the rent, you got to deal with that
Right.
drama.
Yeah. And then when that happens too, you could have broken pipes.
Yes.
The winter still comes,
Yes.
even if there's no renter in the property.
Correct.
In trading, sometimes the market isn't. Sometimes Russia invades Ukraine,
Yeah. Market pulls
and you
back.
got a trade on, and it goes against you.
Correct.
I mean, or COVID or whatever.
So what I do is I put restrictions on my traders purposely.
Right.
I put $1,000 limits. I said you can't trade with more than $1,000 for a few months. Then they say, Professor, then how do we know to break out of that? Look at your trading journal.
Right.
I said, start logging it. It's free. Start using my trading journal. Put it in. When you start seeing consistency, increase it a little bit.
Because it's fractal, right? The whole system's fractal. It'd be a $1,000 trade.
If you could trade $1,000, you could trade 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, 50, 100,000, etc. As long as you can learn the process. This is the issue they have. I'm not making any money. Stop looking at the dollar amount.
Right.
Look at the percentage. I could take a $400,000 trade. You could take a $1,000 trade. If the percentage is the same,
Percentage
your
is the
percentage could be higher because you're like, oh, I'm comfortable in this trade.
So what about this? Because I get this a lot from people. You have to trade different if you have a small account than if you have a large account.
No. And that's where the freaking options drama comes in. People are like,
Think so?
oh, yeah, that's what it is.
That's where
That's the
options
message I
and
get.
the weird crypto coins.
Correct.
Because if you focused on Ethereum as a day trader, you got plenty of action.
Insane.
Trading that one asset, you don't have to chase another coin.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, I think the same thing in stocks. And that was one thing I appreciated about your book, because a lot of times when you talk to day traders, they're trading these stocks that are volume, really
Massive
volatile.
volatility.
You're like saying, hey, they trade these blue chips.
Yes.
Yeah, much safer.
Correct.
Let's
And
see.
if you want to move to volatility later, I tell my traders,
Later.
I said right now, the gentle movers, you're going after stocks that pick up on scanners at 5 o'clock in the morning
Right.
that have run up insane percentage, and you want to try to catch that? What are you doing? And I appreciate you saying that, by the way. No one said that to me, but that's what everybody's talking about.
Right.
I'm the only outlier because I look at my people around me and I'm like, why are you guys telling people to do that? This is dangerous, because you know how I know? They all come to me,
Right.
GP. All of them come to me and say, Professor, I did this. I said, well, you know I don't do any of that. You found the
Right.
stable area where I'm like, I'm not chasing after Cheddar, GME, AMC. Don't tell me them. I don't want them.
Right.
I started only talking about Doge when it was decimated, found support at that 14, 15, 16, and now it moves within that range. Have fun trading that. Go ahead.
Right. And we both talk about that. Don't chase IPOs.
Yeah,
You don't-
stay away from that.
You don't need to. The moment in the book you talked about being the spider.
Yes.
And a lot of my traders there really like that phrase.
They use it?
Well, they liked it. They were like,
Oh.
that was one thing, because I asked people when they left what they thought, about our conversation. And a lot of people talked about being the spider, that
Nice.
analogy of, setting the web
Yeah.
and waiting. And I talk a lot about that too, like waiting for the trade setup, being patient.
Yeah.
All stocks are going to come down.
Yes, the pullback eventually happens. Look at the crypto,
Look
right?
right now. Think of all the people that rode those growth stocks up.
Yeah.
Now look how cheap they are.
Correct.
Every
And-
IPO that's happened in the last year, Uber, Airbnb, DoorDash, look how cheap they are.
Correct. And people think decimation. If they are around enough bear markets, they'd be like, damn, these are the greatest opportunities. Because, we talk about this a lot. People panic. Well, I'm not panicking. You see my live shows, I'm like, hell yeah, another 30,000 Ethereum. Let's go, baby. Let it fall even more. What are we concerned about?
Right.
Like, where's it going? Uber's not going anywhere. Lyft is not, Ethereum is not going anywhere.
Did it surprise you that Uber driver didn't have an Uber?
No, I know.
He owned EPD. Remember, I was like, what is that?
What is that?
But he didn't own Uber.
He said Warren Buffett. He's like, that's what Warren Buffett said.
Right.
They're all following Warren Buffett. God bless him. God bless him.
Yeah, probably can't go wrong there, right?
Yeah.
But I just find it funny that the Uber, I mean, we've been laughing at my video of the Amazon driver.
Yeah.
I had people defending that. They were saying a lot of the Amazon drivers are contract drivers. They're not Amazon employees.
Yeah.
I'm like, shit, I'm not an Amazon employee.
And you have Amazon stock.
So come on, man.
I don't work at Ethereum or any of that.
What does that mean? Can't push a button?
Correct.
It's like this. That's how you buy it.
Correct.
You told that girl, she said, well, I don't have a wallet. And you're like, you don't have Cash App? Because, I mean, you can buy Bitcoin on Cash App. You
Yeah.
can buy stocks on Cash App.
100%.
That's
That's all
crazy.
you need. You can do anything now. This is the greatest piece of tech I think human beings have ever invented. I have access to our ancestral knowledge on this.
Oh, it's amazing.
I could create generational wealth for everybody on this little device. It's crazy.
It's crazy. When I hear people talk against phones, it's insanity.
Well, I'm not a fan of the phone, but I use it for the right reasons, right? So you got the good and the bad on this thing.
There's bad, but like you said, I can read history.
Yeah.
I can study for school.
Yeah.
I can call on a business deal. I can get an Uber. I can eat. I can trade. I have $1 million I track in this phone.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It is, I talk a lot about this idea of pushing your intent into the universe.
Yeah.
We were kind of talking about that when we were walking. We were talking about anybody can be famous
Correct.
in their own mind. I
Yeah.
was joking, but then I started, as I said that, I'm like, it's kind of true.
Yeah.
Anybody this is a voice. And remember that you were telling me about the kid in New York who just walks around asking questions.
Yeah.
He's just a kid that said, here, I'll do that.
Correct.
I mean, he probably got laughed at. And it's uncomfortable. We've been out just talking to people, and it can be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But that's life. That's trading.
Correct.
It's uncomfortable when we start.
Correct.
Investing is uncomfortable.
True.
So if you go around in life avoiding things that are uncomfortable,
You're never gonna grow.
you're not gonna
Never.
do anything. Man.
The candles, so going back to the charts, will never be your friend. If you think they're only going to be green and go to the moon, as they say, you're not going to be. You have to understand the pullbacks. A few weeks ago, we were live trading Robinhood, and there were red candles coming. I'm like, look at the higher time frames. Calm down. Stop being stuck on the 1 minute so much. Look at the 5 and the 15. We're good. The trend is to the upside.
Right.
Don't panic so much. People are so fixated on the small details. They don't look at the bigger picture of things.
So when you're day trading, that's the time. Are you using 3 time frames?
3 times. So we start off with the daily first, the overall picture. Then we go to the hours. I do 2 hours, sometimes 4, but mainly 2. And then we focus on 1, 5, 15 minute, and that's it. And,
So that's more than 3. You're going.
but we're looking at 3, 1, 5, and 15. But we looked at the daily first, and then the 2 hour. But we're on the screen,
Right.
1, 5, and 15, and that's it.
Have you ever? There's a day trader named Brian Shanahan. He's got a book called Technical Analysis in Multiple Time Frames.
We spoke about that in New York. Yeah.
It's a beautiful book. That guy really helped me. And what's funny is I'm not a day trader.
Yeah.
But his analysis of how to use moving averages blew me away.
No,
And
tell
I,
me.
And I used it. It was, when you first, the crossover or this, and it's like, he was like, no, it's the alignment, 5 on top of the 10 on top of the 20,
No.
or whatever. If it's, I think you use 9, 20, 200.
Correct.
If they're aligned numerically in order,
Yeah.
it's obviously going up.
Yes.
So if you're trying to go the other way, you're on the wrong side of the move, right?
Correct.
And that seems so simple, but I was like,
It is, but the problem is people need the ability to hit the buy button when it's time to buy. They have to hit the sell button when it's time to hit the sell. They're scared. They've been burnt a few times. They're like, oh man, the market's a scam. Stock market's a scam. I talked to my Uber driver when she was dropping me from the airport to my house.
right.
She goes, I lost money in crypto. I'm never doing it again. I said, what coin? She goes, Doge.
Right.
I said, come on, Doge? And now you don't trust it anymore? She goes, yep. It's like, wow.
So how do
One.
we fix that? Like, how do we?
Education. People need to understand that this is part of the market. But the overall scheme of things is to the upside. What's the other option? Put your money in a savings account while inflation decimates it? Come on. That's the other option. That's the only option you have then if you think the stock market's a scam.
I think as much as I would never use Bitcoin to buy something because it's too precious to me, I think once we can do that, people like that girl we met yesterday who's like believes in the dollar.
Yeah, it thinks it's backed by gold when it's not.
And I think that's because she can use it.
Yes.
And I think if there's ever a time when I can just use my crypto, more people will come around to it being legitimate. Maybe not as an investment, which I see it as an investment. Like I can't even imagine giving my Bitcoin to someone for a trinket, for a piece of plastic.
I agree.
Here, have these dollars.
I agree.
There's no way I'm giving you Ethereum for candy or
Not in God's green earth.
or imagine even a share. Like, oh, let me give you one share of PayPal, and you get what? No.
Take the dollar. It's worthless.
Take the
Take that. Inflation.
But that's a different mindset. Like you're seeing these assets as. I get a lot of people ask me, borrow against your house to buy. Why the hell would I borrow against my house is paid for?
No.
Why would I risk my house? And I get what they're doing. They're trying to be fancy, borrow here, leverage this, and move this. And it's like, I'd rather just go out and make some new money and keep my house and go buy another house.
Correct.